Okay, everybody, so here is a typical job posting for animal control. I'll run you quickly through it. Starts off with the salary, which for California, this is actually located in Northern California, isn't too bad. Animal control position is working out of, in this case, the police department. So this will be a lot more in depth, probably in another video regarding backgrounds. But just quickly, police department, they will usually run a background check similar to if you were going to become a police officer. So that is very in depth. So make sure you do have a clean record when you're trying to get into an agency that works out of the police department, because they are checking everything. Next is bilingual pay. So if you do speak another language, once you get hired, you can go to your HR department, see if they have a test for that particular language that you're good with, test you on it, and then if you do qualify, they will add in extra pay for its job duties that you're going to have to do as an animal control officer. Like I've explained before, we do investigations, we capture loose animals, we patrol the cities, pick up deads or injureds, maintain a good positive relation with the community, follow up on investigations, nuisance, citations, answering people's questions regarding what the laws are in your city. We do reports, logs, photographs as well of crime scenes, provide the care of the animals if they are impounded, if they're stray, making sure we're providing them with good food, water, and shelter. And if they are sick, making sure that they're getting taken to the vet that you're contracted with. We also work in an office a lot, so make sure you do have, good skills working in an office. Under the education and experience, this one is looking for at least high school diploma and at least a year of experience. So this is where it comes into play with having that paid experience as an animal control officer or something very similar to it in order to get your foot in the door. You have to have a clean to California or wherever you are driving record, because you are driving pretty much your whole shift. This is where you're going to look at it a little bit more thoroughly, and this is where you're going to want to get your points of education. So, of course, you're going to have to understand basic animal behavior and how to humanely care for them, how to handle the animals, and also understand the behaviors of them. So, certain animals, certain breeds will act certain ways, and you got to make sure to understand what that is, especially for the area you're working in, because, different parts of the state, country, they have different types of wildlife that you might not see in one other particular state. So you got to understand how they behave. You also got to understand what the species are and identification. Mainly you're going to deal with mostly, like I said, dogs and cats and your basic local wildlife. So you don't have to know every little sparrow that lives in your area, but it's always nice to know. Next will be understanding the symptoms for rabies or other animal diseases. Again, we're not really diagnosing when we're out there, but you're going to want to understand what you're looking at, especially for your own safety, to also pass along that information to the medical professionals that are working with the animals. Understanding the hazards that you're dealing with, of course, there's thousands on a daily basis, but most importantly is practicing all the proper safety procedures that agency has. Enforcing federal, state, and local laws. So again, just kind of get familiar with the laws in that area. Most of the time, this can actually just be found looking up online. You can do something like Los Angeles municipal codes and probably find a couple different websites that'll have them on there, and just start looking through them, specifically through the animal ones, and got to get a familiarity of what that agency that you're looking at requires. So again, all of this is stuff that you can really look at in detail for your education, whether that's through community colleges, certified online courses, some agencies. This is all the stuff you're really going to want to look at. So make sure to keep that in mind. This is also the ability to, again, this is all educational stuff, how to capture the animals, how to deal with stressful and emergency situations, because yes, that's what we deal with sometimes. It can be chaos at a scene. Assessing the animal behavior, That's important too, so you don't get hurt and you don't hurt the animal even more, depending on what situation's going on. Seizures and arrest procedures. This one's really important, so you don't violate someone's civil rights and get in a personal lawsuit for that. So make sure that you are aware of all these, and the list goes on and on. So again, when you're looking this stuff up, this is what you're going to want to slowly train yourself in. That way, once you get into the job, you have a better understanding of it. Now, the next thing too, physical demands. Yep, this is pretty much a physical job, 100%. Easily can get hurt on the job in a matter of seconds. So this is just pretty much just letting you know, hey, when you're getting into this business, it's going to be very, very hard physical labor. Just be prepared for it. Environmental elements, we don't get a break. Depending on where you're going to be working at, you are going to have rain, snow, 113-degree weather for the summer. So you're going to work in so many different environments. We don't get a break. When a dog gets hit by a car and it's pouring rain, you can't just wait till the rain stops. You're going to have to get out there. And as we've seen too, we deal with a lot of disasters too. We've seen it with the floods and the tornadoes. The officers are still out there rescuing the animals once it is deemed safe enough to do so. So just be prepared for that. That is a very interesting part of the job, dealing with people at their worst, especially when they've probably lost it all. I've dealt with a lot of fires. Of course, California, we have nothing but fires. So I've dealt with a lot of those. And it is insane seeing the amount of work that goes into those situations, from the police departments, the fire departments, all working in unison to get people out and back to safe. Just be ready for that. That's going to be part of the crazy part of the job. We don't get breaks. The animals don't choose the 9 to 5 to get hurt. They're hurt at all hours of the day. Police departments might need you. And of course, on the holidays, they don't really care if it's Christmas. If there's a big problem going on, you're going to need to go out there and respond. So again, this is just a quick look at this one. Let me just show you this other one too. Again, this one's out in Texas. And again, the hourly rate. And here's another one that's out of the police department. So different areas, again, require different things. This one specifically under the certificates, they want you to have a Class C driver's license, which is pretty standard. And this one is actually requiring State of Texas Animal Control certification. So this is something you have to specifically look up for Texas and see what they require. Sometimes some agencies will allow you to be hired without it, but you do have to get it within a certain time frame. So in this case, what is that? About 4 months once you get hired. Here's another one. This one's out of Missoula. I think that is Montana. I don't really travel that far away. This one is out of the health department. So like I said, different agencies have different things, different sectors they work out of. So maybe since this is out of the health department, there's maybe not as much sensitive information. They might have different background requirements. Here's a salary, $18.67 an hour. 2 years of experience that may include time working with animal control, animal care, handling or treatment, or animal research, or law enforcement. So again, any of those things that can kind of get you in the door to find a job, like in this case, this is what they're requiring for theirs. So again, keep that in mind. It doesn't always have to be just strictly being an animal control officer. Definitely can get in there with some vet tech, animal kennel attendants, or in this case, even animal research, since you have to handle the animal. And then to this one I just pulled up, this one is for San Bernardino County, which is out here in California. This is something else you want to pay attention to, because like in this situation for San Bernardino County, they don't cover every city that's in San Bernardino County. But for example, this is the size of San Bernardino County. It is a very large chunk of area that they service. I mean, you can even see it here compared to the size of Las Vegas or Los Angeles area. San Bernardino County is huge. Now, why they don't service every particular city in this area, most of it is their responsibility. And again, this area is really close to LA, but they also service to the borderline of Nevada. So this is something to keep in mind too when you're working or trying to work in certain areas is seeing what their service area is, because you might even be based more out in this area as where maybe the shelter is located at, which is the middle of nowhere, and you live somewhere all the way over here. Also too, this is a good example of checking out what natural disasters happen around here. Since in this case here, you got a lot of forest area, there's a lot of fires that happen here. And then in the winter time, then you have a lot of mudslides here, along with most of these desert areas. So this is just something else you just want to kind of be a little bit more aware of when you're trying to pick an agency or when you're looking at them. Like, for example, there was an agency around here, the beach area, that I was looking at. Didn't go through the whole procedure because once I saw what their beaches looked like on a weekend, it was crowded with people. So for me, in my experience, I already know that you're going to deal with a lot of tourists and a lot of people with their dogs off leash on the beaches. And that's just something I did not want to deal with. So I turned down the job offer. Kind of visit the areas too if you are local, just kind of see if maybe that's something you don't want to do. I was really gung-ho about doing that job, and then I went down there on a busy summer weekend and it was chaos there, and that's just what completely turned me off from it, saying nope, I'm not going to take that job. Again, that's why I just pulled up the San Bernardino County one. They do great work out there, so again, that would be a good agency to work for, and I believe they even have like a starter job out there too for trainees. So again, understand what agency you're going to work for and how big of a service area they are. I would kind of recommend, honestly, when you're looking for a job, something like a San Bernardino County, an LA, Ventura. Again, I'm just naming areas here, but look at your large county areas in the state or area you live in. And those kind of areas kind of get you a little bit more experience. One of the county agencies I worked for, that's where I just got so much experience so fast from dealing with the wildfires in our service area and working with multiple shelters. So like the good thing in like example here for San Bernardino County, it's not just one shelter. Usually large areas like that, they'll have about 2 or 3 different shelters. Like for example here, when you're reading it, these vacancies are for high desert and San Bernardino area. So desert area, and this is more inland in a regular city area, and that's the location of those shelters. So yes, you want to make sure that you're looking at those details as well, but that is part of the beauty of it, is that since you're within the county, if they have openings and you work out here in the high desert, but you bought a house out in San Bernardino, the city, and this goes for any other agency too, then you can usually try to get a transfer out there. So you have other options. When you work just one city by itself and you're out of that police department, for example, you're stuck. You can't really transfer anywhere else. So like I said, working my county job before, that was kind of one of the best times I could say working animal control, because the amount of officers that I work with, the camaraderie, the amount of craziness that just went on with such a large area that we were working, that would be my best recommendation. If you can make it there, like in New York, you can make it anywhere. So that'll just be my quick video on just kind of looking through governmentjobs.com. This is a great resource just to look at, again, in your area, see what they have and what they're hiring for. And just when you're looking through these job offerings, what to kind of look out for. Again, as always, I'll go ahead and post up some additional videos as I make them as we go along, and little cards up on top, kind of going into more detail on certain things that I brought up. But for now, again, if you have any other questions with this regarding the animal control agencies, or looking up jobs, or maybe what stuff means, again, feel free to hit me up on any of my social medias or my email, and I will respond back as soon as I can. So this is AJ for Canine Catcher. Thank you so much again for watching one of my other videos, and I'll make some more if you're, again, interested in becoming an animal control officer. I think it's an awesome career, and I think you'll like it too. See ya.